Hello and welcome to Teachers Web Host. This tutorial is about how to get started working with a class. Classes are divided into playlists, and a playlist has elements. And these are all the different things that can be presented to students to do at the website. Begin by adding a class, because everything exists in the context of a class. Observe this button here that says Import Just Google Classroom Course Name. If you want to synchronize Teachers Web Host with your Google Classroom, you can import a class name here from classes that you have. You see here I have some sample classes. This just brings in the name though. It does not import students. Teachers Web Host is not organized in quite the same way as Google Classroom with regard to classes and students. I'm going to just create one here called Sample Class, and optionally there's a place for a description. This description appears at the top of the playlist for the class. Once your class is created, all your classes appear here. You'll notice now quick links appear over here on the left. There is a button to sign a student out of the classroom. I use this instead of the old sign-up sheet. If a student needs to leave to use the restroom or visit the office, they sign out from their Chromebook using this device here, or I can sign them out. There is also another way to add a new course, and there are buttons here for installing packs of database question banks, like for matching or multiple choice, etc. So let's go into a class. We see here an empty class. This red button jump to the top is very helpful when you've loaded an entire course in here. When you get to the bottom, rather than scroll up, this will bring you to the top. So there are a number of elements here now for controlling the way the class is set up. I'd like to begin over here on the far right. The delete button deletes the course. You can't delete a course unless you've deleted the elements in it. This is kind of a safety feature to prevent accidentally losing a lot of important data. Edit will allow you to change the name of the class or edit the description. Student View will show you a rough idea of what the student's view of the class looks like. You will have, as a teacher, lots of controls here for each of the elements that the students won't have. The inboxes refers to all of the places in the site for this class where you have created a receptacle for students to upload artifacts for you for assessment. These could be documents, spreadsheets, computer codes, zip files. There's a variety of media that can be uploaded for assessment using a rubric here. The inboxes lets you manage them in a list format. The scores is one I use all the time. This is where I would view the scores and analyses of an assessment. It's also a place where you can download a comma delimited text file, for example. Reorder elements is a control that allows you to change the order of the elements in the feed. This is much more handy than Google Classroom, if you don't mind me saying, where you can only move them to the top, at least at this particular time. Hide and show invisibles is a toggle switch so that you can close off and hide elements from students until you're ready for them to use them. But now let's go to the Add Element button, because this is the meat of the site. Courses have playlists. Playlists have elements. You click on these buttons to add elements to the playlist. The topic title is key. This is the way I organize my course anyway. You could call them chapters or units. Always put in some samples here to show you. You'll notice here this page always appears. This is how you set the order of the element in a playlist. Let me add a couple topics here so that I can demonstrate. So you see here, this is how it works. So you can move things around. So now I have some topics. Observe the red button, which allows you to jump up to the top. You can add a note to students in the playlist. International Character Support is installed. In case I've used this to teach French, so I needed to have those. There's an option here to decide where you're going to place the element in relation relation to the names of the topics. You'll notice here that there's a drop down that appears with every element that has the particular controls that are for that element. So there are 4 categories of things you can create here. Besides the general elements, you can create a simple web page. You can post some kind of a document for students to work with, create a discussion forum, link to a web page somewhere else, including a Google document, upload a sound file, maybe a lecture that you want them to hear. There are then elements for multiple choice, elements for matching, and elements for reading and writing. So one of the great things about this process is that you can hide the things that you don't need. So let me create a quick test forum here to show you. I'm going to put it in Unit 1. And no, I guess I'm not going to put it in Unit 1. So what I can do is I can hide everything in Unit 1 by clicking on Toggle Visible. And when I hit the Hide Invisibles buttons, I only see this. This is a great way to organize it. When I put a course in here, I have over 300 elements for a full year course. And that is going to be difficult for me to manage unless I can selectively view certain things. And it'll drive students crazy if they have a list of 300 different things that they have to get to through the year. Changing the order of them, etc. can be very difficult. So this is a way for me to manage the system efficiently. So there's your overview of a course, and I hope that you will find it very useful.